Star Wars Battlefront 2, Gareth Evans. Everyone's talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2 at the moment, aren't they?
It's crazy how many people are talking about this game that's not even released yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, this Reddit thing, isn't it? It's the Reddit comment that really is what caught my eye in the news. Anyways, I was having a glance. They got the most disliked comment on Reddit because they said nothing. Basically, they replied to everyone's uproar saying, "Yeah, this is a system that exists, and it's a complicated system. You're welcome."
Yeah,
and that was it.
Well, what it was people. Someone who'd commented on Reddit saying that we want, I paid $80 for my game. I can't unlock Darth Vader for 40 hours of game until I play for 40 hours. And their response was, we want people to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Those two words are very important here, Mike. Pride and accomplishment. That's the reason why this game is so grindy, is that at the end of it, when you unlock the characters, you want to feel proud and accomplished. And now this is the comment from Reddit that's had the most dislikes in history now, over 500,000 dislikes. I think the previous record was like 20, 30, 40,000.
Yeah, which was a guy saying, how many dislikes can I get?
Exactly.
So
that's where it all kicked off. We made a video on, and this is why we want to kind of update you. There's been an update since yesterday's video, so we wanted to keep you guys abreast of what's happening, because some people rely on us for the news. We wouldn't normally do this. We'd normally just do a green screen video about something else, but there has been major developments, so that's why this video exists.
Yeah, so there's a whole drama around Star Wars Battlefront 2 involving the loot crates. This isn't even explicitly about loot crates. This is another thing. It's kind of an offshoot of the loot crates problem. So, quick summary then. You play through the game, you play the multiplayer, you earn credits in very small amounts, 100, 200, 300, depend, when you complete a match or whatever. You needed 60,000 credits to unlock Luke Skywalker. So from that kind of, that rate of credits that you earn to the actual amount that you need to unlock Luke Skywalker, people extrapolated that, okay, it's going to take you 40 hours of gameplay just to unlock Luke Skywalker, presuming you don't spend those credits on anything else like loot crates, right?
Exactly.
So that was the big problem. So then the EA kind of addressed this very, very quickly, it needs to be said, and that isn't necessarily a good thing, and I'll tell you why later on, but they kind of addressed this super, super quickly, responding to like CNET, like they had one executive emailing CNET about it. They put out this blog post, which is the main kind of announcement, I guess, and that's where they detailed all this stuff, and so they confirmed this big backpedaling, this huge U-turn over this credits that you earn and how long it's going to take. They've cut the cost of these heroes, the cost that it unlocks the cost that it takes to unlock these heroes. They've cut it by 75%. So Luke Skywalker will now cost like 15,000 or 10,000 or whatever, compared to 60, which 15, is a big drop off, right? So, and then some of the other heroes like Chewie and Princess Leia and Emperor Palpatine and stuff, they cost 10,000. And Iden Verso or whatever it is, basically the woman from the main campaign, who's pretty cool so far. I've played a bit of the main campaign and she's a very likable character. She costs 5,000 rather than 20,000.
So
I mean,
this was their response, right? So they announced this last night, and this severely reduces the amount of grind. I mean, some people, their only problem with this game might have been the idea of spending so long grinding.
Yeah.
This reduces that. So for those people, this is good news. But I don't feel like for the majority of people, I don't feel like they've addressed the majority of issues still with this game, because it's still based around the loot boxes. The progression is still tied with the loot boxes. There's still loot boxes in it. There's some backpedaling here for sure. But that's because it was so aggressive in the first place. It was so grindy in the first place. And all they've done is they've given you the worst possible scenario to begin with, and then just reined that in a little bit until it pleased enough people, and so their share prices wouldn't drop so much, and so that nobody's talking about it anymore. Because they've made a response now.
And this is exactly what they did with the loot boxes, which we covered a few weeks previously. So when the beta or whatever for Star Wars Battlefront 2 rolled out, people were saying, oh my god, these star cards are so imbalanced. Like, the fact that you can buy these is, it's going to be overpowered. People are going to be just dropping $100 on this on day one and getting super, souped up. So EA kind of backtracked a little bit and said, we'll put blocks in place and you've got to reach a certain level and you won't be able to get these certain cards and loot crates anymore. Don't worry, guys, we're listening to you. Yeah. But the fact remains, it was a terrible system to begin with, and then they backtrack a little bit to a bit more palatable of a position, which still isn't good, but it's that classic strategy of going really, to the extreme and then backtracking a little bit because that seems more palatable to people. So let me just read out the statement confirming this stuff about the credits in the blog post now. So Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader will now be available for 15,000 credits, down from 60,000 credits, and then it goes on to list a few of the other characters. Based on what we've seen in the trial, this amount will make earning these heroes an achievement, but one that will be accessible for all players. The change will be live today with an update that is getting loaded into the Play First trial now, and also the full game when it launches. We're not stopping there, as we're going to keep making changes to make the experience better. It's a big change, and it's one we can make quickly. It will be live today, and with an update that is getting loaded into the game. So they've noticed themselves there that this is very quick, that they've done it.
Yeah.
And to me, that just says that they were expecting it, or they were at least not expecting it, but saying, if this does get a huge backlash, then this is the fallback position.
Exactly.
Here's where we'll retreat to. Like, immediately. They just did it straight away, the same day.
Yeah.
Like, it made the video that we made on it yesterday. I mean, it was a few hours after that, was it, or something?
It was almost like they were preempting that people weren't going to feel enough pride and achievement out of this. It's like, where's that line gone now? I mean, where do we get our pride and achievement accomplishment from now? I mean, they're saying it's still an achievement. Yeah, but
it's also accessible now as well.
It's like, this is complete bollocks. It's like, what happened to your previous stance, EA?
Yeah.
You haven't addressed that at all. Your previous stance was, you want us to feel proud and accomplished. But now we can't do that, essentially. So 25% the pride and accomplishment. I mean, I want my money back.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, isn't it? It's saying one thing and saying...
I was expecting this much pride, Mike. I was expecting so much pride.
Where's all the pride?
Stripping the pride away from my gameplay.
It flies in the face of it completely by making it accessible as well. If their policy was, you've really got to earn these things, you've got to play this game for hours and hours and hours to get it, but then suddenly they're going, actually, you know what, we want to make it accessible as well. So it's like, so it's easier for everyone to get it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just PR talk that saying anything to manage this. This is all about money. There's nothing to do with a sense of achievement and everything. That's just shite.
Yeah,
that is absolute bollocks. The problem with it for me mainly is that it's free to play mechanics in a game that is full price. Now, I've played this game about 7 or 8 hours, using the Origin Access trial on PC. So I've had a sample of the main campaign, which incidentally they stop you from playing after like 3 missions because you could beat it in the 10 hours or whatever trial. So I played it a little bit, but it's, I mean, the multiplayer, people are saying it's polished and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of website early reviews and stuff saying that it's a great multiplayer portion. It's just a shame the single player is not so good and whatever. I do not think that the multiplayer is good because it is compromised by this loot box thing. It's bollocks. Yeah. Like it shows you when you die what the player who killed you was using the star cards they've got. I haven't equipped any star cards, and I just can't be asked. I can't be asked going into the store and opening up the loot crates and seeing what cards I got and flipping them over and all that stuff. I just want to play the game, right?
Yeah.
But I can't. Because a key example for me is the sniper class. The sniper class gets a set of binoculars that allows you to see every single player in a kind of proximity, so you can spot players with binoculars, put your binoculars away, get the sniper out and kill them. Yeah. It's great. It actually feels pretty well balanced, right? However, there's a star card that makes the range of that improved. It enhances the goggles, right? So you could be anywhere on the map, and it overpowers that one ability so much. And this is just one star card for one class. Yeah, it's the same story all over the place. And the amount of times I felt robbed, not having immediately died, but having then looked at the cards that the person had and was like, well, what chance have I got against that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it just feels compromised for me already, but I don't know.
I think the key thing for here is like EA, instead of balancing the game properly and kind of making the game a reasonable amount of time to unlock various things, like their idea of balance is so warped. Like their idea of balance is being very aggressive with microtransactions, then reining it back until people are happy. That's balance. That's what they're talking about.
Because they've took the scale so far one way, and then they're kind of easing up on the tipping.
That is what balance is in EA games now. I mean, they don't balance the gameplay. They just balance the outrage. That's all they do.
Yeah, that is what it is. They found themselves in I don't think they were expecting this much of a mess over it, and it's on the BBC website and all this sort of stuff now. This isn't what they wanted at all. The only thing that you can hope for is if you want games like Battlefront to exist without this shit, that it ends up costing them so much and it ends up being so much of a headache and it affects their share prices and stuff like that it's not worth it for them. Otherwise, they'll just keep doing it. Do you think this is going to affect their games in the future or anything, or are they just going to plow on anyway?
I think it has raised a lot of eyebrows. I think that getting all these headlines with the most downloaded Reddit comment ever, people taking notice, and like mainstream media, like you said, the BBC taking notice, and this is what we're hoping for, is that they do feel the repercussions of this. They don't just get away with this bullshit, because all they've done is they've reined it back halfway or whatever, and they've not really changed, they've not really fixed anything for the majority of people. Some people might find it's fine, and with them like making this gestures, which is what it was, which we're speculating that they already had that in mind anyway, because it was so aggressive to begin with, making this gesture so so quickly. They've kind of placated a lot of people. But what they haven't put in their blog is that the credits that you get for completing the main campaign has now been stripped back from 20,000 credits, where it was, down to 5,000 credits. So in essence, they're giving with one hand and taking away with the other. They're balancing this thing like, yeah, you can have everything for cheaper now, but we're not going to give you as much credits. It's like how nefarious and underhanded can you be? This company is just like at every turn they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to be PR like positive and like, look, we're listening to you. We're doing the right thing.
Thanks for the great feedback. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for great feedback. We're listening. Everything will be changing, and they can deflect all the criticism that they want. But the changes that they're making aren't enough. Like, this is the second time in a row that I feel like they haven't fixed the core problem at heart here. All they've done is they've paid lip service and they've just placated the masses so that the outrage isn't as much as it was. There's still outrage out there.
The thing with the campaign thing is specifically interesting to me because they give you, like you said, they were giving you 20,000 credits, which is how much Aiden, whatever her name is, costed, right? She costed 20,000. She now costs 5,000, so they've cut that down to 5,000, which is like, well, this system is so ingrained in the game, they can't just give you a character. They've got to give you enough credits to buy the character. Yeah. It's just write yourself into a corner that badly, and they're obviously not willing to do it. And
the whole game mechanic is around like a storefront, isn't it? The whole thing is a store.
It feels like a free-to-play mobile game. Honestly, what it is.
That's it, and that's the whole idea of it. They can't give you item because they want you to be familiar with purchasing shit.
Yes, they want you to go into that to buy it and see that you've got credits, and those credits can be spent on stuff. And yeah, you're exactly right. They want to introduce you to that. Which is quite insipid that they're doing that at the end of the campaign after you've just played through the campaign. And that's, it's annoying. The campaign missions that I've played are really good. As a big Star Wars fan, it's fun. The scenarios that have come up, you can see DICE's raw talent in this game. The first hour or so of the game were just magic. It's like, it's like, the classic thing of if I could see this when I was 13, 14 years old, it would have blown my mind, right? It's absolute magic. But it dies down so quickly and so aggressively that because of all the faff that's around it, like, you've got on the PC anyway, you've got your kind of gamer tag thing in the main menu in the top corner, and you got these different your credits and whatever, and how many loot boxes you've got unopened and all this stuff around the actual gameplay that just completely removes you from the game. And EA doesn't care. EA doesn't want to make good games anymore. They want to make platforms for microtransactions and loot boxes, and that is what this is.
Exactly. And from all that story around Visceral Games closing because they didn't have a game with their version of FIFA Ultimate Team cards, right? And that's the kind of one quote from that whole, like, what happened there with Visceral Games that stuck with me. Where's your version of the FIFA Ultimate Team? This is Battlefront's version of FIFA Ultimate Team. This is a system that is set up, and they say it every single time, set up to last a long time so that they can keep selling cards for a long time and loot crates for a long time. This is their version of FIFA Ultimate Team, and this is all they care about. And you look at the words that they throw out there in their blogs and releases and on their PR and all that. It's like, it's so superficial and it doesn't really hit to the core. And like you've got to just question what their motives are behind all these words. And their motives are primarily serving this games as a service thing. So in order for them to make money, take money off you after they've sold you the game, they've already got their $80 off you, and their main priority is making people happy enough to take more money off them after that they've bought the game. And that's my problem with EA. It's the fact everything is geared, that they say and everything they do is geared around that one ambition, that one motive.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. I mean, they've got an AMA coming up on Wednesday, which should be tomorrow if this video goes out on Tuesday, as it should. That's going to be interesting. I wonder how that's going to go down.
That is interesting. This is one way. I mean, they're doing PR right. Is one thing, right? They're doing the PR right. This is exactly what you should be doing. You should be engaging your critics, and you should be answering your critics and trying to engage in a conversation with them. That's what they're doing. But unfortunately for us, we're not getting the right answers. We're not getting like honest answers. All we're getting is, oh yeah, we can fix that in a future update. We can fix that. That's their get out of jail free card right now, and that's all they'll get from the AMA. You mark my words. The amount of times you say, oh, thanks for your feedback, we'll take it on board and we'll look to improve. We'll be balancing it into the future.
The game's changing all the time, and that's the line that they're saying. That was at the top of this blog post. Yeah, so that's this current situation with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I mean, like I said, having played it personally, the multiplayer is just not that good anyway. The game's just shagged anyway completely because of the loot boxes and the implications that has, and it overshadows what good there is there for me, to be honest. So just off and play the 2005 version, innit?
Yeah, I think the bottom line for me is, I mean, people considering, well, should I buy it or not? Because, I mean, they've made changes, they're doing the right thing. But what you've got to remember with all the changes that they made yesterday is that your progression is still locked behind a pay/grind wall. Like, all the characters, like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, they're all, once you buy the game, you still have to grind or pay to unlock these characters, these features in the game. Everything is locked away. This is not how games should be served. You should buy a game and have all the content available. Okay, you can get there eventually. Yeah, it'll take you 20 or 75% less time to get there now, but it's still a grind, and it's still a shitty way of trying to get money out of you after they've already sold you the game. And that's what you've got to focus on. If you're deciding whether or not to buy this game, if you're happy with that, if you're happy with them having this horrible attitude towards you in the fact that all they want is your money, they don't care how much game they give you, they will dial it back just so you're just a little bit just about happy enough to buy the game, and then that's what they will do. They will get away with as much as they possibly can to get away with your money. And that's the bottom line for me, and that's why I'll completely not be supporting this game or this company until they change their ways.
There you go. That's the current situation with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to be talking about it. But I've been Mike Williams, joined by Gareth Evans for pretty good gaming. We'll see you next time.